right. Hey, folks, how are we all doing today? It's Tuesday morning. We're going to do some Eberron artwork. Give me a second here to check my signal. I'm going to do the social media postings I need to broadcast the signal, and then we're going to get into work here for about an hour and a half. Let's see. Checking my signal here real quick just to make sure that we're live and up and running. I'll distract you with my origin story here in a second. I can still hear myself, so I'm going to drop that off. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. There's that, and picking up the link and doing the social media posts. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish online, and I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using the 2024 rules. I'm a big Eberron enthusiast. It's an adventure that you can see here. It's called Crystals of Mabar. So we're 7th and 8th level characters. You're fighting undead, demons, and necromancers in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. I've been a dungeon master since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004 and creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. But I've yet to create anything specifically for the Eberron world, and it's time for me to basically give homage to that stuff. So, one more moment here while I figure this out. There's that. There. Here. Blurb. Okay, cool. Got that set. Okay, great. All the posts are done. Let me fix my screen here real quick. So, I'm here 9 times a week, Monday through Friday. We do artwork like this on 4 times a week, on Tuesdays and Fridays like today, as well as Mondays and Thursdays. We do game design. If you think today's cool, you want to see more of what's going on, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild that all have free previews. And thanks for new subscribers. We have more than yesterday, so bless you folks for taking an interest in what we're doing, and I hope to earn your keep. So, yeah, book cover, made this around episode 40. We're currently on episode 472. Here's the entire playlist of all 472 episodes. Jeez, that's insane. When we finish this book, we'll be starting on another one, and we just keep rolling through books until I die, or I don't know, or the sun takes the internet away from us. So this is the village Thorpe. This is where the village Peace. This is where we begin town. All of these buildings have lift-off lids as separate layers. Here on the commons area, you can lift off the lid, and here's the interior. Ugh, bloody mess. Yeah, bad things happened in this town when undead got a hold of everyone. So we're going to focus over here on the silo and warehouse today. I've extracted all of these are black crystals that grow on blood and open water and stuff. This is moss that creates that's the foundation. These crystals is what soil turns into when exposed to the necrotic powers of Mabar. This fungus grows from the crystals. The crystals act as dirt. This is like a fundamental like moss or fungus that grows inside the soil. From this fungus grows a number of things, including Vulpinolithardia, which is it emanates a gas, a stinking cloud effect, as well as radiating dim green light around it. So there's an unnatural green sort of tinge along the ground that projects light upward, and there's no other light in the plane of Mabar. It's a realm of darkness. So the only so far as we can tell, the only light that is present in the plane is from these unnatural fungi that emit poison, and so you have to be near the poison to be able to see. Otherwise, you have to provide your own light source and become a beacon for creatures to attack you. So we've got bloody messes here that we need to supplement with the different plant growth things that happen. So let's see, that's the blooded layer. Here's top gore here, and let's see where we're at here. I want to grab crystals. I'm just gonna be bold and merge all this. I'm just gonna merge these groups down and just cut pieces off of it. Merge the group. Merge the group. Merge the group. So we're going to take all this stuff and we're going to, this is a grain silo, and it's full of grain. So at the top, there's a hatch that you can pour the grain into, and then there is a doorway here that can be opened for grain to come. I mean, it's a half door, so you can open it for grain to scoop out grain, and in here as well, so you can bag it, bags grain. So the grain gets dumped in through the top. We sift it out at the bottom into sacks. It then gets picked up and then carried out of town by merchants to take it back to larger civilization. When undead attack, some people flee to the top of the tower. They get found, they fall in, they get killed inside here by undead falling in after them and getting caught in here. So if anyone decides to open these doors, undead will pour out and attack them. Fun. But since they get killed inside here, we need to add the Mabaran flora that grows out of this. Infected creatures, the ghouls, the skeletons, the undead in general that are coming out of Mabar are infected with this stuff. So when they get to an area and somebody dies there, it just starts to propagate in additional regions. So it's like a small regional infection, I guess, for lack of a better word. But it gets killed by direct sunlight, so it only thrives in the darkness. So like for example, this open patch around this well of blood, if this was in a dark area, then we'd have fungus and crystals and stuff growing out of this. But since it's exposed to the air, excuse me, since it's exposed to the sunlight, the Mabaran stuff doesn't have an opportunity to grow here. So it's only in the shaded dark areas, which we have comments about in the adventure, about how it's destroyed by light. So, okay, great. So we are here. We're going to grab, let's just grab a chunk of this. Copy, paste. And bring this over here. Yeah, that fits really nicely. I'll give it a bit of a twist. There. So now we have these gritty crystals that are growing in the splotches of blood. Down. I had wanted to have all of this finished last night and for us to start in on a new page, but I was so wiped out last night. I just crashed instead. So self-care is important. Recognizing where your limits are at is important to not push yourself into burnout. And so I took a self-care night and just crashed. I got shit sleep. Just horrible sleep. Did not feel like I slept at all. But my body's responding well, so I think there was actually more sleep attained than I think. That's good. Barf. All right, now that we got the crystals down, on top of that we want to put fungus. So the plague moss is what it's called. I'm just gonna grab a chunk of it. Like that. Yeah, let's bring this. Let's just bring this over here for a moment, and then carve out pieces of it. And drop them in. Where it feels good. Yeah, I like that. I like how all that sits. Cool. And let's grab this. Copy, paste, drop that into the pit. So we got blood, we've got crystals, we got moss, and then we layer poison gas, creating glow fungus on top of that. Let's bring this over a little bit. I'm gonna put it here. Technically, this stuff here should be shifted down to here. Well, this stuff is supposed to be aligned here. These are actually separate tiles that I've just stitched together to be a single layer, just for the lulz of it. Merge, just because it was easy. But these individual tiles are included in the adventure as part of the asset packs that you can build your own maps with, along with like all the forest assets, the swamp assets, the rotting vegetation, all that stuff. There's different biomes that we've created for this adventure that you can use. Let's take that and let's put that here. I like how that looks. Merge down. Let's grab this chunk here. Let's bring that over here. I like that. And I don't think I need to overdo it. I'm just going to leave that like that. So let's remove that. Merge these together. There. So it has a 5-foot radius. So this square would go out to here, to here. This would push out to here. This pushes to here. This pushes. So this whole space in here, almost all of this would be dimly lit. Along here, along the edge, would not be. There's undead that are laying among and buried inside of the rice. Like the living undead are buried in the grain. The dead that are dead. Well, none of the dead are still dead. They get animated once they get this stuff in their system. They get animated on their own and become independent undead under the control of Mabar. Love it. Okay, cool. So that is top gore. And then we have warehouse gore over here. So this is, I should actually call this silo gore. Silo gore. And let's be fancy. Let's trim this down a smidge. And let's hide the grid. Copy. Paste. Hey Tyler, how you doing? It's good to see you, my guy. How's the boy? Let's take a soft round brush for our eraser. We're going to drop the opacity on that eraser like down to 10%. I'm going to just trim at the edges here. Let's push that. Let's push that eraser up to 20%. Nice. That's awesome. Happy for you, my man. Yeah, right on, my guy. Thank you. Appreciate you. Roaming the streets, making sure people's got the stuffs. Do that. That feels pretty good. And let's drop the opacity on this overall. Just this becomes part of the roof that you can see into. Yes, okay, so what I need to do to retain internal logic, the stuff gets destroyed in sunlight. Ergo, I can't have sunlight hitting the stuff. Ergo, I can't have an open hole that allows sunlight to project into the space because that would kill all the stuff that's on the interior. Ergo, I must create a separate block. Let's go like this. Copy. Paste. Nope. This is the proper way. Like this. I hear you, Eraser. I mean, Timer. Thank you, Timely Timer. Keeping time. Hey, Fox. How you doing, my guy? Trim this down a smidge. Let's even that out. There. Now we have a lid for the thing that we can lift off, and you can see a little bit into the interior. Which you can lift off and see the interior. Bloody mess, undead within, poison gas within. I want to give this a tilt. Let's tilt it like this. Actually, what I actually need to do is pull away here. Oh, yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not using solid round. I need to use a solid round brush here, here, like that. I kind of want to do something like that. Kind of like that. Hey, thank you. Sound, voice, etc. Glad to hear it. It's I have it slightly offline, so it's not directly underneath my mouth, but the volume is cranked up. So this might be a good way to play. It's offline, so it's not going to get in the way of me moving around. Hopefully, it's going to be in the chair's behaving too. It's still creaky, but I'm not tempting fate with it today. Everything seems to be lining. Everything's turning up Millhouse today. So I'm going to skew this a smidge. Let's do that. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Good. Okay, so we can take this and let's see, roof, and then this is what is it? Roof, hatch. Roof, hatch. Again, these are separate assets that are included in a zip file with the adventure when you purchase. So you have all of the maps, all of the tokens, all of the layering. The roof is on a separate layer than the interior space, so you can have those separated. And all of these little, these are all tiles that can be used to assemble your own. Like all the tree and forest assets, these are all separate asset pieces as separate trees as well. So you can assemble in VTT your own environments. And we provide some. Hold on, real quick. So we provide some like base, like ground, like scrub or like forest floor that you can then drop things on top of to create environments. And we have a few examples of those that we have in the adventure for different encounters, like a campsite, the up a tree where you find NPCs stuck in a tree with undead trying to climb up to them, as well as just some random forest stuff. And then we have random manifest zone swamp space, like necrotic swamp maps as well, like with dilapidated gazebos and stuff like that are in the environment. That can be used to just create interesting terrain points for characters to fight and explore. So the roof is taken care of. I'm pretty happy with that now. Let's get back down here into, oops, I need to conceal that stuff. Down into, here's the silo gore, that's taken care of. Interior space altogether. And then we have the warehouse gore, which is above the warehouse floor. So onto gore. Let's grab these three things, drop them down appropriate here. before I get carried away, I'm going to need these for the stables as well. So I'm going to duplicate these layers. And fetch them down to the silo here. So I can carve these things up with abandon without having to worry about botching the layer or not. Hey, what's up? You may want to look at the lid. I feel it needs a bit of shadow in the southwest line. Looks like it fades into the floor. Southeast, not for the roof. Oh, because it kind of. Oh, I see what you're saying. You know what? Honestly, that's a really good idea. That's a really, really good point. Let's fix that real quick. Yeah. Hold on. I've got a solution to this pollution. Oops, you're a little off there, buddy. Like that, make the shadow line up. Ooh, pesky. There. Better, not bitter. There. Is this simple square the downfall of Phil's channel? Perhaps. Perhaps it is. Yeah, that feels better. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the shadow on the roofs are to the west and north. Because it's autumn, so there's more spin on the planets. This is a further longitude northward. It's latitude. It's a higher longitude. Thank you. And it's not high noon. So having cast shadows angling in this direction feels like the right thing to do. So adding in that shadow here along the northern and western edge is appropriate, and we can drop that in here. Let's check ourselves again real quick just to make sure we haven't wrecked ourselves, because I know it's not a square anymore. There, let Bob be your uncle. Good seal. Skew. Shunt. Sit. And now we have good. Yeah, now we have good. Good call, Foxy. Appreciate you, my guy. Very so. Okay, cool. So that's squared away. Blop, blop. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that probably would have ended up chewing on me inside, that I would have had to have fixed it. But I'd rather get to that place before instead of after publishing. So, and it's hard to say. Sometimes I'll find things like, shit. That's what I like about PDFs so much, aside from my ability to actually color them, is that if I find a mistake, it's pretty easy in comparison to fix it as opposed to a printed book. God, I can't imagine having printing a book and having like pages missing or something flipped or just wrong information that didn't get updated when it was supposed to. What a fucking nightmare. All my stuff is constantly evolving because I use it. It just naturally evolves over time. And just the idea of me releasing like hardbound books that are like, this is how it is. It's like, no, all these things are breathing, living documents that I'm constantly updating. And I constantly, like the color mana system, I'll update that. I've been updating that like maybe every 9 months or so. I'll have an update to it. Like something just hit me the wrong way. I want to change it. And once 2024 got announced, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let this stuff stack up and not make any more changes until 24 comes out. And then I can go through and just reformat the whole thing, which is what we're doing on Monday, Thursday nights, and Tuesday, Friday lunches. Like today, we'll be working on the Bard. And once we get all those mechanics locked down and I'm happy with how everything sits, then we'll be able to move on to just basically completely rebuild the book from scratch. And then republish it under the same title. So if people already own the 2014 version, they'll get the 2024 version updated automatically. And the 2024, I'm going to grab that. No. Nah, none of that's good anymore. Let's just stick with where we're at. There we go. And so, and I'll keep the 2014, the original version that's already printed online, published online. I'll put that in a zip folder along with all the mana assets and stuff, just as just for archive purposes. Roll20 lets you go and pick up previous versions. Because it keeps an archive of all the revisions that you make to a book. So you can go through time and look at the changes that have been made to a book just to see how it evolves. So I don't technically need to provide the updated version in a zip file. I could let Roll20 handle that if I wanted to, I guess. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. We'll decide. We'll get there. We'll know what the natural solution is when we arrive there. Oh man, hold on real quick. I want to share something with you guys. Give me a second here. I have to rearrange my windows and conceal my shit here for a hot second while I dive into this. But this is something I want to look at. Hold on. I'm going to drop into DMsGuild. And I'm going to go to my products. I'm going to go to products that are not active. Let's look at manage preview of my titles. And then I'm going to go down to my test page. Click here to go to the title page, creator page. Oh, son of a bitch. It's not there yet. I'm gonna have to come back to this. I've got a. I want to show. I did a sample test for the preview page, but I didn't keep it, so it's botched up for the second. I'm waiting for it to update, but I want to show what this looks like. It's not going to be a good version of it because it's not completed and it's got like a transparent background which comes out as black on the preview page if I don't have an actual like page color background built into the PDF, which I don't yet. But give me a few minutes. I'm gonna work on this, and by the time we get done with this, we should be able to see the preview on the backside. But for now, let's just grab a chunk of this. Just carve out a piece of that. Go down. We'll go down here. I love that. Let's twist this a little bit here. Okay, cool. Now we got this shape that we need to fill, which we should be able to accomplish with this. There. Grab this. Here, I'm going to flip horizontal and then spin this around like that. Do that. Break it up a little bit. Down. Let's go grab another chunk. There we go. Free transform. Rotate that into the mess. There we go. Now we have a nice layer of grit, of crystals growing into the blood. Bald spot over here we can fill in. Merge down here. This seems like a good little pocket here. I think we can probably just let it sit like that. I like that. Merge. Okay, cool. So now we got that resolved. Going to delete the rest of this. Again, we have all this stuff up here already still. Thank you, Timely Timer. So we have the backups up here already that we're going to use in the stables here in a few minutes. So I can get rid of this now that I don't need it. I'm going to check on the Roll20 updates, because it takes a few moments for it to do a refresh. Okay. Here you go. Here's the product. Here's a sample product page. The specific product doesn't matter. It's just a test page. But in the Roll20 document, Roll20 updated their software, so your preview screen will now fit the size of any document that you put into it. So when I have this finished, this is the format that we're going to have. So I can zoom in on this here if I want to. There's our full screen. I can bring that up a little bit. There, we'll drop that down a little bit because it's not perfect. But the samples work. The samples work perfectly as I had hoped. This is going to end up being fucking amazing. I am so looking forward to having this finished. This really excited me. So that's how that. Yeah. Anyway, the samples work. The preview page is going to work as intended. Once this is all hyperlinked, I can click on these buttons down here to jump around inside the document. This will be the table of contents. That'll take you to the front page here, which you can then use to click through on all these links here. Click, 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 click to take you to different points in the book. I'm stoked to see this. This is goddamn. I'm excited. I am legitimately excited. I'm excited that this is a format because before they didn't support this format. About a year and a half ago, if you put anything into a preview, it had to fit the 8.5 by 11 format, and something like this would get squeezed down to fit inside that space, and it would be all distorted and stupid. At the time I was thinking I would have to switch this and like rotate it 90 degrees so that it would at least present in the proper formatting, but they changed it so it works now, and goddamn, I'm excited. So I just wanted to share that real quick, just as a quick sneak preview of what we got coming down the pipe, because all of this stuff is just going to work perfectly, just as intended. I am beyond excited. Yeah, it's working out. That's a huge victory for me, because when I started on this endeavor, it was before they had fixed that, and I was like, I'm just going to have faith that this is going to work out, and God bless it, it did. So, anyway, that's enough of me geeking out. Let me get back to work here. Make use of my time. Reclaim my time. No one's paying you to gawk at shit, Kearney. Get to work. Let's put that there. I'm just gonna grab a chunk of this. Cutty pasty. Ooh, I like that. I can just take this whole thing. Merge all that goodness down. Just grab a piece of it here. Merge down. Piece of this, copy, paste. Let's bring that here. Merge. Copy, paste. here. Transform, bump, 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 bump. Merge down. Bring this down to here. That feels good. Merge down. We now have General Moss and Fungus. So now we can grab Letharia. And drag all its bits into hell. Rabble, rabble. I'm going to nice. I like how that sits. I like that chunk here. Actually sits really nicely. Let's grab a bit of this. Do that. Merge those down. Let's grab some of this. Lean to free transform, flip, and then rotate, and then drop this in here. Smooth that out. Merge down. Smudge out that gaseous. Blech. Around. Spin to win. Drop it in. Smudge that out. Blend it in a bit. Merge down. Let's grab it. Blend to win. Here we go. Let's grab a chunk of this. Transform, rotate, paste. Blend. Nice. another chunk of it down here. And then we'll probably be able to call this section done. Move on to the stables. Copy, paste. I see text. Hold on real quick. I'll catch up with you. Here. That feels good. And here. Push that out. Like that. So, hey Steve, how you doing? Let's just grab these. Transform like this, and then flip horizontal. That feels good. Let's grab this and bring it there. And blend in here. Blend in here. It's more ornamental than anything, I like to think. I don't need to be too concerned about the specifics of positioning on stuff. As long as it's occupying some squares, it's going to affect the stuff around it. And then we have an appendix that details what each of these things are and how they do. Let's flip this one. Bring it in like that. Free transform. Give it a twist. Push it to there. Then we can blend, blend, blend. Blend, blend, blend. Blend, blend, blend. I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Merge that down. Lotharia. Fungus. Crystals. Blood splat. And again, because this is outside the building, it can't have anything growing in it because when it gets hit by direct sunlight, it kills everything. In the manifest zone, there's so much Lotharia mist, fog effect rising up. It actually obscures vision beyond, depending on the density, anywhere from like, you either have like clear vision for 20 feet and then obscured for another 20 feet, and then you can't see beyond that. Or if it's thinner, 40 feet and then 80 feet. And undead aren't affected by that obscurement at all. So when you get into the thick of the manifest zone, your characters basically have a 40-foot range of vision with this unnatural light coming from the ground, because these patches of fungus that emit this dim light is everywhere. And when your characters are stumbling through it, undead, because all the vegetation is rotted away, it's basically just a plane of necrotic slop that's mixing in with the rain. It's a rainy season because it's autumn. So it's a rainy season, and it's got this necrotic effect. So the forest area where the manifest zone is at is just this muddy, necrotic, sloppy stench that you're sludging through. And it becomes difficult terrain for characters to move through in the thick of it. Undead aren't affected by the difficult terrain, and undead don't have their vision limited by the mist. It's invisible to them. They don't see it. It's native to them. So this is in the natural environment. So you have a limited range of visibility. Your movement is slowed, but any undead that finds you can move as fast as they have their normal movement speed, and they can see you before you can see them. So it gets real. It gets real intense quick. And for 7th, 8th level characters fighting lower CR monsters, that's actually a pretty good circumstance, because they have a chance to close in on you before you can blast them away before they get to you. Fun stuff. But like in here, there's a bunch of undead that are basically clustered in here because this is where they died. Nothing's activated them to go run off in any particular direction at the time. So if your team decides to, the door is cracked, so if the team decides to poke their head in and check it out, they're going to find a bunch of undead in here. It's like, oh shit. And once the team, if the team actually opens the door altogether, that triggers within, if they don't actually go in within 2 rounds, all of the undead come out, and there's like 16 undead in here. So they will chase your shit down. Fun times. Fun times. Let's go to interior. Yeah, this is a separate sliding door here, so you can close it, you can open it. Again, it's a separate asset. If you're for folks that have participated in my playtesting, they're familiar with like sliding doors that I use in Roll20. Okay, that's a good pot. So I'm really happy with that space there. Let's move these out of the way real quick because I want some more. I want to grab up some more bop, bop, bop of this here. What time is it? 7:29. We're doing good. We still got 20 some odd minutes. I don't need to do too much of this. I think I'm happy with that. There. Let's just leave it like that. Let's pull this gore together here. And then we've got our roof. And then our lid. And we'll fold that all together. And there we go. So the last thing we need to work on is stables, and there's not a lot we need to do. Just patches here, 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 and here. This is going to be indirectly hit by sunlight, so it's not going to have an opportunity to grow. There could be some crystals growing here, maybe a little bit of fungus, but no Letharia. So we can... Where are our stables? Stables. Stable, there we go, stable gore. We'll need to do this for the farmhouse, the attacked, the slaughtered farmhouse. Yes, we'll have to do that as well, but we're not quite there yet. I don't think I'm going to be doing that on screen here. Grab those assets here, drag them down to the stables. Okay, procedure is procedure. Let's grab a chunk of crystal. Thank you, Timely Timer. That's telling us we have 20 minutes to go today. Which should be fine. We can get the stables done. Once the stables are done, technically this region is done, and we can move on to the next thing. Let's grab a chunk of that. Nice, we'll do that. Merge down. We tap at the edges so it doesn't look obviously cut and broken. Good. Let's grab another chunk. Like, say, like this. My brain is locking up. Why is my brain locking up? It's not happy about something. What is my brain not happy about? Down here because I cut instead of copied. That's why. That's why my brain is angry. So we'll do that. We'll copy paste because I can extract these things and drop just drop these clumps down into the homestead slaughter map. And ooh. That and drag this over to here. Here. There we go. Tap at this. Anything that's exterior doesn't count because, again, once it gets hit by sunlight, it dies. Push down. Let's go up here and let's just grab this. There. Cool. Okay. And now we can go grab some fungus. Grab a chunk of that. All right, let's merge that into one layer. Here. Yeah, let's do that. Merge those down. Here. Copy, paste, zoom. Here, grab this. Like that. That feels good. Merge. And we'll go over here. We'll grab another chunk of it. Beep, 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 beep. Nope. Copy, paste, zero. transform. Let's rotate like this. There we go. Fungus there, fungus there, fungus there. We don't have any fungus here, so let's grab a chunk. Let's do this. My phone is loud today. What's up with that? Must be user error. So here, copy, paste, zoom, down, zoom. Let's free transform, let's flip horizontal. And then like that. That's good. We'll merge that down. And we can put, and we got crystals, but we don't have any grit in there. Let's put a small little, just a little pea patch. Just a little patch. Like this. This looks pretty good. Grab that. There. Cute. Like a little accent. Okay, now we can add the Lotharia, and we'll be done with the stables. So let's go back up here. Let's there it is. Let's just grab this chunk here to start. Whoa, where'd you go? Way off in left field. Bring this down. A very large chunk of change you got going on there, sir. Let's carve a piece of that off and bring it down to here. Start. Let's grab another chunk like this. Zoom out, pan down. Like that. That feels really good. Bring this over here so we have less travel time, shan't we? Nice. Let's blend that in. Blend to win. This stuff takes so there's basically like 3 degrees of concentration that I require to be able to function here on stream. I've got complete autonomic control where I'm literally not thinking about what I'm doing at all, and I can just ramble about whatever I want. That's the freest state that I can be in. And then there's where I'm working on stuff that I don't know how to do, like layering things, weird angles, perspective stuff that prevents me from being able to talk about anything because my brain is trying to cycle through how am I supposed to, like, what is this supposed to look like? How am I supposed to duplicate that look? and I can't really talk about anything because my brain is being preoccupied with the physics of what I'm trying to attempt. And then we're in this place where enough of my concentration is required that I can't just free roam talk about whatever I want like I can with autonomics, but it doesn't completely absorb everything that I do. So I'm kind of in this weird middle space where I can make light comments about what I'm doing, but not actually engage in any real levels of conversation, which is sad. I deem that sad, but it is what it is. It's how the machinery works. It's how I do. So I have to honor the process and where I'm at. I'm much like here. I'm just doing smudge stuff, right? And I'm just pushing things around right now, so I can get back to a place where I can talk a little bit more freely. But again, there's a degree of focus that my brain is locked in on, like what's next, where am I moving these pieces to, what's the logistics of arranging these token elements. So it's a limited degree of freedom, not quite where I want to be at when I'm doing streams like this, which is why I try to limit this type of activity during stream time, because this is stuff I could do in the evening as well, just as easily. But I'm here now, just basically demonstrating the process that we're going through. Let's merge that down. One more pocket over here, and then we can call this done. It's a different gear that I'm currently in that I don't normally like to function in. Let's bring this over here. Free transform. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it like this. I like that. That feels really, really good. Merge that down. And let's just grab just a random snippet over here. Copy, nerp. Copy, paste, zerp. 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 Merge. Okay, cool. So that should take care of the stables. Take the lot of that. Let's go with Mabar tokens. And let's get these tokens out of here before they cause me any trouble. Stables feel pretty good. All the buildings are resolved. I think I'm okay with the amount of blood that's dotted between. Let's make that concealed. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And then there's roaming undead. Anytime your characters are at a location, it's a number of it's a D6, and every turn that you take that you don't engage with roaming undead, you increase the pips on your D6. So after 6 turns of the characters investigating stuff, there's a guaranteed squad of undead that'll find your characters. So like if you're here, when it pops up that there should be undead, they could come like from around the corner here, or like around the corner here, or if you're here, they could come from around the corner here. Anywhere that is fully obscured that would hide their presence, undead can come in from. Like if you're here, you could have them come from the building here, 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 or from the forest here or here. If you're over here, then you've got building around here, building around here, building around here. And basically they just keep coming until the team decides to move on. So, but once, yeah, so it's really up to the DM to decide how much of this mess, how much undead has come at the team for them to acknowledge, yeah, there was a significant threat here. The townspeople had no chance. Once all of the buildings are cleared, then the wandering monsters stop. So while you're still messing around with stuff and exploring stuff, undead can keep spawning and coming at you. Once you clear the zone, the wandering monsters stop. You can secure the area for short or long rests as long as you're doing it indoors someplace. And then from there, you can push into the forest in the northwestern corner here, heading into the Carnwood, where we can run into more forest wilderness encounters. So this is good. We are damn near out of time, so I'm going to take a moment here and then go to art. Act 1. Farmhouse abandoned, has no furniture. Farmhouse occupied, has residents still present. Farmhouse attacked is undead gore. So we're going to pop open this layer. And here we are. So gore in the stables, gore in the farmhouse. Let's not think too closely about the size of beds and the blood that has occurred here. It's we have warnings. We have gore warnings at the beginning of the adventure, like caution. If undead slaughter stuff is triggering to you, you'll have plenty of opportunity to be triggered. This is our gore layer. We're going to stack up the layers like we did here. So we're going to take this this Mabar tokens. We're going to take that. We're going to duplicate that group into the farmhouse attacked. Yup. There. So we're going to put all that stuff here. And let's put it over here. This is the proper place for it. Yeah, that's a good place for it. So we'll do the same for here and here. A little bit over here, and we'll come back and we'll be doing corn maze tiles for us to be able to build out extensive tile maze. And that's my timer to say, hey, wrap up. So I'm going to hit save here to get these tokens on the board for us to start working with. And I'll probably spill out the blood underneath the hay bales. And then spilling out here underneath the stalls. The barn on the horse ranch that I grew up on in Missouri, the barn that we had I was talking about this yesterday. We had like 3-inch gaps at the bottom of the walls that allowed air to move through. It was a little cold on their feet, admittedly, but there was warmth inside of the stables. But a little bit of current running underneath the walls kept any kind of dust or stench from building up inside of there. But when you have a bloody mess like this, it'll just naturally seep out underneath and stain the environment around the building. Yeah, we're done. I'm going to hit save. This will be done. And this is done. So the next thing that we're going to be able to do, I'll probably do this. What I'll probably do tonight is drop the bloodied stuff into the ranch, into the homestead map, and what we're going to want to do is take each of these buildings, now that they're all properly gored individually. We can take each building separately and then pull them out and then drop them into the actual document where we're talking about each building specifically. So this is just a general map at the beginning of this section where characters are outside the buildings and can generally see what's going on here and choose which buildings do they want to explore first. And like, let's check out the constabulary over here. So when your characters do that, they go to the constabulary, and when they get to the doorway, they get to the stairs here leading into the place, and that's when we, as the DM, would lift off the lid, say, here's the interior space, check it out. It's like, well, let's go check out the gore over here, and then you check this out, and you find some small amount of coin, and then the blood trail obviously is leading over here. So it's like, okay, let's go there. So you go out of the building into the commons area, and I'm probably going to want to separate the two roofs, because here, these two rooms in this porch is one area, and then the actual commons area here is a separate region. So I'm probably going to want to actually break these things up into their own pieces. Yeah, so I'll do that. But we'll get to it. So, but yeah, when we go in, like we'll take this, like this here specifically, this map portion here. And like if the size of the map is going to require having like adjacent buildings be partially into the map space to be able to get the surrounding terrain, that's great because we have the roofs on these things. Because when you look at the total map coming into the village, it's all roofs. It's only when you actually enter a building will the roof lift off and you can see inside of it. And the team can have an idea of like where have we gone, what have we explored by having roofs off. Like we've explored the constabulary and we've explored the commons area because the roofs are gone. For the silo, we'll be able to peel the lid off of the silo as well so that you can see the interior space of that when you look into it. Otherwise, we're going to leave the roof attached. So once all the roofs have been lifted off of these, that's when the undead stop. And that's when you'll have found all the clues that then lead you off into the forest to the northwest. So that's the logistics that go along with that. So I'm going to fold all this together. This is technically done. Cool. All right, so we're going to move on. I'm going to be back today in about it's almost 8 o'clock here. So in about 6 hours, we'll be back on. We're going to continue. We still have a few 2014 subclasses for the Bard to work through. We'll see if we can get those done at lunch today. And if not, Thursday we'll come back. We'll finish those and then start in on the Warlocks. I think there's some 2014 subclasses for the Warlock we haven't converted yet. I want to do that. And that'll finish all the subclasses for all 13 classes for both 2024 and 2014. Once we clear that fence, I actually have Friday off this week. I have Friday off this week. I have Monday and Tuesday off next week. I have Thursday and Friday off next week. The only day I work next week is Wednesday. And otherwise, I'm taking my May holiday for myself. And so this Friday, instead of having an hour lunch, I could be on for up to 3 hours. Like I'll probably start. I might have a doctor's appointment I think at noon, so I should be back from that like around 2:30 or so. So I'm gonna jump on. I'll probably be on for 2 or 3 hours. So between today, Thursday, and Friday, we should finish both the Bard and Warlock conversion to 2024 and color mana mechanics. And then from there, next week on Monday, I have the day off. So I can have a lunch. I'll have my morning stream. I can have a lunch stream doing game design stuff, and then have my normal Monday night as well. So I'll be doing 3 sessions. I believe I'll be doing 3 sessions on Monday. Yeah, that sounds right. And so what we'll probably do on Monday is look at the horror UA that came out, like with Hexblade and stuff like that, to see how they've handled it and how we want to translate it. The color mana system that we have resolves some of the problems that Wizards hasn't figured out to resolve 2024, like hex concentration, for instance. That's something easy we can resolve, and the mana system really allows for that. But they're still restricted with their binary concentration mechanics and their devotion to spell slots, which doesn't help the Warlock like at all. But we'll be diving into that. We'll be looking at that next week. So that's it for now, guys. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna be out of here. I'll be back in 6 hours to continue working on the Bard subclasses. Thanks a lot for everyone that's checked this out. I'm here 9 times per week. If you think it's fun, like, subscribe, bell icon, notifications. Check out my books down below. Join my Discord community down below. Check out my Patreon down below. My social medias. And I will see you all in a bit. Right on, man. See you later.